Hey, this is Danielle. Welcome to the Simpler Options free video for January 14th, 2019. So looking across my sector map here, main thing I notice is the weakness within staples. So market has done a pretty good job rallying the past 2 weeks, but I would argue that consumer staples remains one of the weaker sectors in my list, directly underneath resistance, under the 21 exponential moving average. You also haven't had a moving average cross. You have a fib cluster there. For a lot of reasons, it is the weaker link, and that leads me to look for stocks within that sector that I can potentially short. So where does that leave me? With Coca-Cola. So keep in mind, anything you do at this point in the year, earnings is coming up, so you want to keep that in the back of your mind as far as different setups are concerned. So we do have earnings on February 8th in Coke. So if I'm going to do something directional to the downside, I'm probably going to avoid that earnings series unless I'm trying to do a run into earnings, which I am not, because I'm looking for this to trade lower. So on Coca-Cola, what do I see? Well, I see a pattern that's stuck underneath a major voodoo. So, you never really want to try and bet on something trading through a major voodoo line like that, especially when it has fallen below it and now it's creating a bunch of resistance. But looking at Coke on this lower time frame, we have a 195-minute squeeze. So I'm looking at this for a downside trade. I think probably the easiest thing to do is just sell some call credit spreads on it. Don't quite have a trigger, but especially if the market starts to turn a little bit lower, which I think at the spot that we're in, we've been stuck below 2600 for several days now, and the market's just kind of running out of steam. So running out of steam, we also are pretty overbought. Sorry, go all the way back here. We're also pretty overbought. Ready, aim, fire looks like it's going to fire on down to the downside. So that tells me, what should I do? I should look at a couple different short ideas. Where does that lead me? It leads me to the consumer staples area. And then how do I want to trade that? Well, you can trade it with just XLP. To the downside, you can trade some put options on XLP, or you could come in and say, all right, well, I would rather trade Coca-Cola and I want to sell some call credit spreads on it. You could buy some puts, but honestly, in this crazy volatile market environment that has been rather boring the past few days, I would just sell some call credit spreads or do a bearish butterfly. So that is my take. See you in the trading room if you're there. If you're not, come check us out. We are having an open house this week. And if not, I'll see you there. Have a good rest of your night. Thanks and good trading.